welcome to another session. So in the last session we saw how do we write a test case with Cypress. Basically we wrote our first test script. So in this session we'll be discussing about Mocha. So Mocha is basically a framework which provides the basic structure of for how to write a test case. So let's quickly go on to the Mocha website. So it says Mocha is a feature-rich JavaScript test framework running on top of Node.js and in the browser and making asynchronous testing simple and fun. So let's see, go below as well. So here we can see the installation about Mocha. So it's npm install minus minus global Mocha. So this will install globally Mocha onto your system, but you don't need to do anything since we have by default available Mocha with on top of Cypress. So Cypress is basically built on top of Mocha framework, so which provides us the basic structure of how to write the test case. So let's quickly go and do and understand what basic structure is about. So I have created one file first test.cy.js. So let me write my first test case. So the first thing you will have to write is describe. So what is describe? So describe is nothing, just I can see cypress.suit config.override by function this.mocha.suit. So we have heard about test suites, correct? So describe is nothing but just the same as test suite. So in we have a test suite. Inside test suite we have test cases. So describe is all about test suite. So just give a bracket and then say first test suite, first test suite, and then function, sorry, brackets, and once we have the test suite, inside test suite are said that we write test cases, we have test cases. So for test cases we write it block is used for test cases. So simply it and brackets open bracket close, let's say first test case, sorry for the typo, tc1. Similarly, just write a function. Okay, now writing a function inside, I'm not opening anything. I'll just write a logging statement, cy.log, that is tc1. Okay, so this is our first test case. So we can have multiple test cases inside a test suite. So similarly, if you want to write another, we have another test case. So we can write it again, and let's say second test case tc2 and function. cy.log tc2. Okay, so let me quickly open terminal npx cypress open. Okay, so we have opened the Cypress dashboard. Let me choose end-to-end testing. Yes, start with Chrome. Let me close this, close this. We have our first test.cy.js. Let's run this. Yeah, it's executed first test suite, and then first test case 1 it has logged tc1, second test case tc2 logs tc2. So there are scenarios where you have multiple test suites. So how to do that? Simple. Just you can have more than one test suite as well. Let's say this is as second test suite, second test case, second suite tc1, second suite tc test case 2. Okay, let's save this up. So we'll have two test suites now. We see we have two set test suites now. First test suite 1, second test suite 2. Okay, so this is how we write basically the basic frame structure around Mocha. So describe is for test suite, it is for test cases. Okay. So let's say we want to run only this test case and you don't want to run all these up. So what should we do? So this will, there can be scenarios then where you are writing an independent test case. You have 100 test cases and you want to execute the last one, and that is independent. So you won't wait for 99 of them execute and then you're implementing that, and you'll it simply will waste your time now. So let's say if I want to run only one test case, so in that case it's it dot only. So if I save this up, so now this will run only this. Inside this describe block, this will run only this. Okay. So same goes, let's say, for our test suite as well. Only, and yeah, we have only the first two test cases for the first test suite. If I do it for, let's say, for this, so second test suite, second test case. And let's say if we want to, there's one more option. If you want to skip any test case, skip. Let's say I can use, I don't want to run this, simply skip this. So that is used for skipping. So now we'll only see first test case is passed, second test case is passed, and we have two skip errors. If we see the count, two are passed and two is for skip. Okay. So if we see, so this is for skip, this is for failure, this is for passing. So if I rerun this, so two are skipped and two are passed. So this is about skipping a test. Same if you want to skip this for skipping a test suite. If you want to, let's say, want to run all but skip this one, then just simply do skip. Save this up. Now test suite 2 won't have execution for the first test case. So it's only executing the second test case. So simple as that. I hope it's clear. So we have more hooks available. So let's see those. Now if we go and write, there's a hook before each. Let's first study about before each. First is the browser. So yeah, so in this we have, yeah, so before each is, yeah, before each is something that runs before each test in this block. And let's see the example of this. So If you want to run something before any each and every test case, sorry, this is not this test, before each is this one, before each again, before function, and write cy.log, let's say, write before each. What's the error here? Function. Correct? Yeah. Let's save this. And this will run before this test case and this test case. Let's see. Before each is running before this test case 1. Before each is running before this test case 2. Okay. So before if we want to implement the same for the next one, so here as well we can do, sorry, so before each is running before this second test case, second suit test case 1, second suit test case 2. Okay, so this is about before each. So I'm sharing a practical scenario where we can say that we can, let's say you want to log in before every test case, so you can use before each inside before each you can implement the login functionality and you can move forward. Okay, let's say you want to implement it for all the test cases in one go. Just write it here and this should work. Before each, before each implemented first, before each is here, and before each is here. No need to write it separately inside this guy block, so it will already. Let's say there's a case for let's say if you want to do something, let's say if you want to log out your application once you run your test cases. So simple, we have after each for that. Okay, control X from here and then after each. After each. Okay, so this will run after each test case. So this will run first for this, then this, after each for the first test case, after each for the second test case. Okay, so similarly if I copy it here, it will run it for here. Let's see it quickly. Control X. Okay, and similarly the fashion, if you want to do it for all in a single run, Control Z, say, Control V, Control save. So okay, after each for this, after each for this, after each for this, then after each for this. So this is the basic structure around Mocha. So if let's say if you don't want to run after every test case, if you want to run only for the first test case, let's say, so in that case we use before. Before is something similar to before all in test ng basically. So if I write here before the first test case, it will execute before the first test case of this file. So if I save this up, so this will execute only before that first test case of this file. See, it's not executing here, not executing here in the second test suite, it's not executing even here, it is only executing before this. So this is about before all. If you want to run anything before your, preloading your data, let's say if you want to do preloading your data for the next amount of test suite or whatever, you want to load your data before running your test suites, so you can do inside before. Okay. And similarly, if you want to, let's say you want to, we have after as well, so this will run only at the last of the second file. Yeah. So after, so let's see, I'll tell you a practical scenario for this. Sorry, the A is small. See, you get errors when you do a typo here. See, sorry, I did not write. After the last test case, after the last test case of this file. So let's say you want to, let, uh, let's say there's a scenario that you are loading a data, and then you're creating a table basically. Before you are creating a table, and in the end of the session you want to, what say, let's say you want to uh, discard that table. So once your last test case executes, you can do a discard of that table logic here inside. So what is there, once you once you have done your operation, the table is deleted from the DB. Let's say this is a scenario, so you can do it before. And let's say you want to load up the data, you want to, you want to make up your DB. um, so inside before, you can, create a DB, and after, and you can perform your test suite, you can run your test suite, and post you you have done all your test cases, and you have run your all of the test cases. What you can do inside the after, you can implement the logic for after, for deleting the same DB, the table from the DB. So you can do that. So these are the practical scenarios. So that's all about the basic structure around Cypress. So we'll move forward in the next lecture about with the selectors and how to write selectors. Okay, so meet you in the next lecture. Till then, goodbye. Thank you.